Welcome in. This is the AJA Sports Show. What is going on?
So, boys,
All day, let's go. So
Aloha. What,
big day tomorrow, guys. Y'all hear about something? Maybe
what's
something going on?
hanging
what's
a
the
banner.
what's
Oh,
the
yeah.
yeah
You
uh,
know,
the Lakers are one of the like 7 teams that haven't played in front of an audience so far this year. So
we're doing Los Angeles Laker things. We hang banners, the big ones, too. Not the conference ones at the
The Pacific Division
Clippers.
titles.
Yeah, we win those every year, baby.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Not this
Well,
year.
we win these quite often, too. What?
did you guys see my? Did you guys go onto Twitter and see my hilarious meme that I posted?
I did. Yes, I did. I love it. I was actually meaning to tell you before we got on, but we got sidetracked talking about the content for today. But yeah, that was funny. The Kyrie one.
Yeah, let me
That
share it
was
real
funny.
quick.
I liked it.
It was pretty gold, to be honest.
He
While
balled
I
today, Kyrie. Though I mean, they lost, but
while I pull this up, why don't you guys say hello
Lord,
to?
what is up? How you doing, Elizabeth?
hello, Lord Lizzie.
So I put how I think conversations between these two go. So it's Phoebe and Joey from Friends. We are both going to play defense. Take today off.
Yeah, there you go.
They all take days off from defense on that team, though. Ain't nobody
Yeah, they
playing
really
defense on
do.
that team.
They take the day off of defense and of games, just in
I
general.
mean, holy Toledo. We'll talk about him a little bit, dude. But between Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, Kyrie Irving, James Harden.
Oh man, definitely. So this is the our weekly NBA show where we talk about standings and MVP stuff and kind of what's hitting the news. This week we had a few things drop that were kind of important to the landscape of the rest of the season. Kind of the first one was Jamal Murray tore his ACL. His season is done. Jamal Murray, went off last year in the playoffs, went into, you know, some extra like Super Saiyan form of himself, and
Yeah, seriously.
balled out. So it's gonna suck for Denver not to have him. Uh, Jokic is still balling like a madman there. Uh, but yeah, he led the team in threes. I mean, Jokic was leading the team in everything else. So, but he was taking 16 shots plus a game. So, uh, the slack is going to have to be pulled somewhere. Since Aaron Gordon joined the team, he's averaged 11 points, 4 rebounds, less than a three a game. So, and 8 shots a game. So he's going to definitely have to, uh, plug himself in there a little bit more to make up for the loss. Porter. Porter Jr. has averaged 17 points this season, almost 8 rebounds, 2.5 threes a game, and he's been taking 12.5 shots. So I could see him picking up a little bit of slack. And then Barton has been just under 13 points, 4 rebounds, and just under 2 threes a game, and he's been taking 10 shots a game. So some of their young guys are just going to be, you know, propel themselves, and I think they can, answer the challenge, but it's going to be difficult to you know, make like a leap this year. I think without Murray. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, it'll be tough to make a deep run. I think without Jamal. You saw how you talked about how important he was for last year's playoff run. Monte Morris is their backup point guard, so he'll probably step into the starting role going forward. But I mean, you're going to need more from Michael Porter Jr. You're going to probably need him to get somewhere close to that 20 points a game range towards the end of the season. Jokic just kind of keep doing his thing. He'll find players and stuff, and he's good enough. And it may not lead to just
Definitely.
to wins, but at least for his MVP case, he should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing we saying about Michael Porter, dude, he ain't gonna be scared to shoot. Dude streaks. And he's been on fuego, especially from the three ball lately. I saw a stat the other day. He was shooting like 53% over his last 7 games. He cooled off a little bit from that, but dude is an absolute stud. He was coming out of Mizzou, and people were talking about him being a first-round pick, the first pick in the draft and being like a top 3 draft pick. And he had that back injury that put him out for a while. He came in for the tournament. Didn't look 100% himself, but Dude's 6'8", big boy. He scores, puts the ball on the deck, is able to pass. He's not the greatest defensive player in the world, which is why he used to get yanked, especially last year in the playoffs. You saw some spells where he just wasn't out there. Dude just gives up buckets. Been better this season. At least he tries. I mean, I'll give him that. He works at it. But when you look at Jamal Murray, man, it's just super unfortunate because of how we've already talked about a little bit about his playoff capabilities. But he's just he's a playoff type of player, right? He's a dude that handles the ball really well, shoots the three really well, is really good in the screen and roll, is really good in the ISO game, does it all from all three levels of the floor. He finishes at the cup. I already mentioned he shoots the three ball well, great passer from the point guard position. His career playoff averages are pretty great. He's only had 2 of them so far. But last year was when he really broke out. He averaged 26.5 points, 6.5 assists, 5 boards. The dude shot 50% from the field and 45% from the 3-point line in the 19 games that they played in the playoffs last year. Yeah, dude's unbelievable. It's really unfortunate for them. We've already talked about it a little bit. I was more scared of them than the Clippers. I was more scared of them than the Jazz.
Right.
I was more scared. And I'm not just saying this to be controversial, and you guys agree. I mean, dude, between all those guys I just mentioned, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon is a guy who was a primetime player in Orlando, can shoulder the load easily. He can come out, take 15 shots a game. Michael Porter Jr. is a scorer. Will Barton is a scorer, veteran guy. Paul Millsap is a guy you're going to see get a lot of run too because he's a veteran now. They're going to ask him to play some more minutes. And obviously, Nikola Jokic is unbelievable. So big boost for all the other teams in the Western Conference. I mean, obviously, I can't talk about how big of a blow it is for the Nuggets, but.
Yeah, definitely. The fact that it happened within the last minute of the game, I mean, they were down 6 or 7 points, so there was still a opportunity there for the Nuggets to win. So,
and he was finishing.
He was making.
Oh, you darn tootin'. Split the D, left-handed layup, and dude, it's just.
Speaking of his finish, he had 2 finishes at the rim last year. One against or in the playoffs last season, one against, I believe it was Kawhi, and the other one against LeBron, that were just otherworldly. And I'd argue one that we'd maybe have never even seen before. He literally got to the top of the top of the restricted area and jumped as high as he could and spun and it was Rudy Gobert. It was Rudy Gobert. And he went the opposite way with his wrist. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. So it sucks that he's going to be out of the game. I like him a lot. Johnny, you've been on Jamal Murray for a while.
Coming out of college, you could just tell. There's some guys when they're coming out of college for some reason people just don't like, and I don't understand it at all. Like people gave Devin Booker so much garbage because he was coming off the bench at Kentucky. I was like, this dude's gonna come. He's gonna average 25 points a game. He shoots the ball, puts the ball on the deck, does everything you could possibly want at the NBA level. He's 6'6", a big dude, plays great defense, and everyone's like, oh no, and he went 10th. Like it's not like he was drafted any ridiculous. He was 10th. So I did just some of it doesn't make sense to me. Speaking of little man finishers, right? I know this is a little off topic. I get off topic pretty easily. Little man finishers at the rim, right? The 2 that I automatically think of are like Allen Iverson and Kyrie Irving, right? Do you anybody else that y'all think of like just off the dome?
Not in the same category as those 2.
Right. Yeah, that's what I want to say. That's what I want to say. Who out of those 2 would you rather have finishing at the rim? Who's the better finisher at the rim between those 2 small guys?
Oof, I don't know. That's a tough question. I'm not a big Kyrie fan, but I've seen that. I've seen that.
He's got the best layup package in the league. He's got the best layup package.
I think he does. Yeah, I think he does.
Absolutely.
I think I mean AI is a close second, but that's not a bad way to go off topic there. I mean,
you're probably right. I mean, he probably nudges him out just a little bit though, but it's not.
We're gonna put this on a poll on Twitter. Everyone go on Twitter. We're gonna put it up on a poll. AJA Sports at AJA Sports Show on Twitter.
We need another AJ at Dan Patrick Show. How they what's our poll right now? We need a person to do
right?
Absolutely. I'm putting it on right now.
Perfecto. You're one of the AJets then. You just admitted. Sorry. So one of the A's is the A plus. The diva, the main attraction. Nah, I'm just playing. We're a strong team.
We are.
Don't know what Russia has to do with that, but I hope no one takes that personally. Because if Kyrie, with Kyrie Irving, he takes everything personally. So if you've seen MJ's The Dance on Netflix, you know that he kind of described the what was that, the '96 season, where they did a fantastic documentary as the season went on. And what he was talking about, was it Isaiah Thomas?
No, not at that point.
It
I
got
think
personal. No, they took it personally. That was
I can't remember off the top of my head.
dang.
It's okay. We were kind of young when that happened, but anyways, you can go onto Netflix and double check. But it's kind of meme culture now.
Oh, dude, someone put up like 30 points on him. Yeah. Someone put up like
Okay.
30
Yeah,
some points on him.
a rookie.
Yeah, some little chump. And dude didn't even do anything. I remember he told Mike after the game, he was like, "Good game, Mike." And Mike was like, "I took it personally." And then dropped like
That's what it
45
was.
on him. And dude
That's
only
what
had
it
like
was.
10. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yep.
That's what it was.
We figured it out here, folks. So now we coming into present day here. So with Kyrie, I mean, Mr. taking personal days off. If saw the meme at the top of the show, it's on our Twitter too. Team that doesn't play defense and team that likes to take days off or is often injured and gets days off just by virtue of not being healthy. The Brooklyn Nets, folks. That's your favorites to win it all by a large in part. I think everybody is saying that right now. Every talk show, every news station is Nets. So
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks ago, before they got the brakes beaten off them by the Lakers, like Chris Broussard was calling him, like was saying it was like already crowning him, like I mean, after KD came back from his injury, and I was just like, dude, come on, like you've covered basketball for how long? Like this there's levels to everything, and like not everything is a sure thing, obviously, but like we're gonna talk about their defensive rating right now. It's atrocious, and it matters, and we can't just ignore the fact that it doesn't matter.
So yeah, not only are we bringing up the point here that they don't they take games off or they don't play defense, right? It's like it's not just that, but it might be even something like mental with Kyrie or Durant, because they often seem to be a little like mysterious when they're letting their feelings go. And I mean, I think in a way that makes you appreciate some of the players that don't do that. But I guess as we kind of progress with social media being such a big part of everybody's lives nowadays, it kind of leaks into these NBA players like professional careers. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about, but I got some stats we can run through here. So Kyrie's missed 16 games this season. Durant's missed 32. Harden's missed 20. If I'm not mistaken, I think Durant missed today as well. So that's 33 games missed for Durant. Just to like nurse his way back to health, even though he's not injured right now, just to kind of like an injury rest day, so to speak. So we're going to talk about their chances, right, to make the playoffs. Done 100%. They're going to be there, right? 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah, 100%.
We're talking about their opponents probably going to face a 500 team at best in their first round, right? So potentially they should have a pretty easy path to get to the second round. I'm gonna read off some stats here from the last 2 NBA champions, which was the Lakers last year and the Toronto Raptors the year before that. So we're talking about the Lakers last year were 11th in the league in points scored, and then they allowed the fourth. They were the 4th best against points. So, so it's pretty good. They're pretty much were about top 10 in points, and then they were top 10 defensively in points. In blocks, they were number 1 in blocks, and then they were also number 1 in blocks allowed against them. In steals, they were 5th best in the league, and they held their opponents to 26th best in the league. So blocks and steals and points, right? Kind of what makes up a good defense there. Rebounds, the Lakers were 13th in the league. They allowed teams, they were the 2nd best when it came to teams getting rebounds on them. So again, real good stats there, right? So we'll kind of cut it there. The Raptors, in 2018-2019, they were the 8th best scoring team, and then they were 9th best on defense, so top 10, top 10. On blocks, they were the 9th best blocking team, and then they allowed teams, they were 6th in terms of blocks there. And then steals, they were the 9th best team in the league, and then opponents against them were 17th on average. So, yeah, I mean, you kind of look at these stats, right? They're pretty much top 10 in points, steals, and blocks. And, I didn't read rebounds for the Raptors. Rebounds, they were 9th best in the league, and they held opponents against them at 8th best. So, pretty good as far as stats go, right? So, when we look at the Nets, though, they're 2nd in the league in points. Probably will change, but at the season end. But right now they're 2nd in points, but they're 24th points in defense, right? So they're allowing on average 114 points per game, and then in blocks they rank 9th, so top 10, and then 13th. So they, kind of that's average, I guess, about middle of the pack there. Steals, they're one of the worst teams in steals. They are ranked 28th, and then teams against them are ranked 21st. And then rebounds here, they're 5th in the league, so that's not bad. And then against them, they're 4th. So the one that kind of sticks out there though is points against them, and obviously the scores matter quite a bit. I just don't project them to be a super successful team with kind of that defensive outlook. And Jay, you have a great stat to share, right?
Yeah, so in order to defense wins championships, it's kind of like a mantra that we've all heard growing up playing sports, because coaches want you to try on defense, even though scoring points get you the ladies and get you all the praise and stuff. You want to play defense too, because you're not going to win unless you play defense. If you look at it, there've been 45 champions since the NBA-ABA merger in 1976. Only 3 of those teams since the merger have won a championship despite having a defense that was ranked 10 or worse in defensive rating in the regular season. Those 3 teams were the 1995 Houston Rockets, who had a ton of injuries throughout their regular season and looked like a completely different team once they got healthy and made it to the postseason. The other team is the 2001 Los Angeles Lakers, who finished with a 21 defensive rating in the regular season. Then decided to actually start playing basketball and start playing defensive basketball. And in that 2001 NBA postseason, had the number 1 defense in the postseason and only allowed 3 teams to score over 100 points during those games. And then the last team is the 2018 Golden State Warriors, who were absolutely unbelievable, and they ranked 11th, just right outside of the top 10. So, you have to play defense, even though right now in this league, it's all about scoring points. You have to be able to stop somebody, especially in the postseason. You start the hand check comes back a little more. You get a little more physical down there in the post. So, and the other thing for Brooklyn, we saw it the other day when Andre Drummond was literally, dude hadn't played basketball in like 2 months. Came in and dominated, looked like the best player on the floor, because Brooklyn cannot guard anybody inside. We were just watching them play Joel Embiid right now. Joel Embiid is going to put up career highs in every category if they play the Brooklyn Nets at any point throughout the postseason. Dude was literally just throw me the ball here and dominated everybody. Just
39 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists.
And he started taking it easy at the end of the fourth quarter. They were able to slow down because they were up.
3 for 6 from 3, and he only missed 1 free throw. He was 10 for 11. So
I mean, dude, he's gonna go to the free throw line whenever he wants, bro. It's crazy.
He scored 21 points in the first half, and it was the 14th time and he's missed about 10 games. It was the 14th time this season that he's scored 20 points in the first half. So I mean, again, it has to do with the fact that they're playing Brooklyn. I mean, they're just atrocious, and it's going to be hard for them, like Brooklyn in the playoffs, because the first round they might not draw like that big of an issue. I wouldn't imagine, but then you start, depending on where the dominoes fall with the Sixers and the Bucks and what seeding they get and how they play out, might even spell trouble. They could even see trouble like if they face a team like Miami. Bam Adebayo is a really solid defensive like center, not as rough and tough in the paint like Embiid and Giannis will be, but definitely still something that's going to be that hasn't been addressed yet. And unless they plan on invoking their best 2001 Lakers, that I don't know. They're gonna have to figure something out. So
they just don't have anybody. That's the problem. The Lakers had people. Like we had Rick Fox, we had Kobe, we had D-Fish, we had guys that traditionally play defense. But when you're on your third championship in a row, you tend to take a couple of breaks. I mean, other teams, don't know much about it. Don't know what that's like.
Why did we?
We just win championships all the
So
time.
if you watched the Nets play the Sixers today, you would have thought, oh wow, like Joel Embiid, star of the game. He battled against Kyrie, who had 37 points for the Nets. He played. He needs to score. I mean, when he's on the court with Durant or on the court with Harden, like they'll drop 25 each, right? Or 25-30 each. But this is the headline that we get out of ESPN. Embiid, 76ers, top undermanned Nets 123 to 117. Well, first of all, they're only undermanned by James Harden. Kevin Durant took a day off, so whether or not that was makes them undermanned. I mean, he was on the bench. He could have technically checked in if he wasn't declared inactive before the game, which he was. But to me that's ESPN just wants you to think like because the Nets don't have everybody, that means they're not going to be successful. They lost 123 to 117. So I mean they could have won that game. They didn't roll out their full team, and you're being judged regardless if you roll out your full team or not.
I think the Nets are solid at 2. I wouldn't want to go up and get the 1 seed for what? So you have to play the Bucks before the Eastern Conference Finals? No shot. Let the Bucks and 76ers beat each other up. They're going to have to play each other. Whoever finishes the 1 is going to get Milwaukee because Milwaukee's pretty much locked in at the 3. And if you're the 2 seed, you're the Nets right now, I'm chilling at the 2 seed. I'm cool. Let Durant take some more days off. Why bother? What's the point? And I mean, we see what Kyrie's able to do without him. They're going to be a force. To say that they're not going to be really good when the playoffs come is incorrect. Now, the question becomes, are they going to win a championship? Because that's the metric at the end of the day that these super teams are judged by, right? I mean, if you don't win a championship, it doesn't matter. The Golden State Warriors won 73 games, and then LeBron decided he was going to be Thanos and get down 3-1. And, it's not that it's for nothing, but you got for nothing. You got to win the darn thing. And I remember someone asked Michael Jordan about that, and he was like, well, they lost the championship. So what's the point? You break the record, you don't win the championship. What's the point? Kind of like Kobe saying, job not finished. You got to finish the job. You got to put this boy away. Mm-hmm. And if you're sitting at one of the worst ranked teams defensively in the postseason, it's just in the regular season, it shows that it's not going to really change in the postseason unless you have the players to do that, which the Nets don't have. And winning one without those players to do that, proven to be pretty difficult. So
I just want to not that you're got anything terribly wrong, but the 2 and the 3 fall on the same side of the bracket. So the Nets and the Bucks would fall 2-3 versus the the 2, it's the 2-7 versus the 3-6, and they fall on the same side of the bracket, and then the 1-8 and the 4-5.
Damn, you're right.
So it would behoove them to try to be number 1 so that they don't have to face the Bucks. Yeah.
No, that's a good catch, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I don't understand why Aldridge and Blake Griffin aren't playing. Like I understand KD coming off an Achilles injury, but I mean, in a game where you need like a little bit of size, you're gonna just throw out Nick Claxton and just hope that gets the job done. Only like
he's their best defensive player.
He's the only defensive player. This is what
who's
I'm
running
talking
about. Who's running point for them without Durant, right? Like Durant's out. Harden's out. Both those guys play point for them. I don't know how to say his last name. Chiazzo or
Chiozza. He doesn't play much. He plays like 12, 15 minutes. It's Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown plays a lot of point for them.
Okay.
Landry Shamet plays a little bit of the point for them. Bruce Brown's probably their second best defensive player, bro. We're being honest. Like
he's actually not bad, Bruce Brown. He's a good piece.
Good. And next year they're gonna add Dinwiddie back. Like, I mean, that doesn't help them defensively, but they are going to add Dinwiddie too. So we think they're pretty darn good right now. They're adding Dinwiddie here. So
yeah, well, a couple of players on the team don't have a ring yet, So that kind of leads us into the next topic up for bid, and that's 0. Yeah, the little 0 right there is a little deceiving. What does that 0 mean? Well, the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz. We're talking about zeros here. Both franchises have won 0 rings. Both franchises have 0 players on their teams that have won elsewhere. So everybody on those teams currently have nothing, and the teams haven't won a ring yet. So a lot of pressure is being put on the West the top two teams in the West. I'm being a little dramatic with the zero here, but it's true though. Like, we look at these super successful regular season teams, mind you, who both have fans cheering for them. So that might have played a little bit of a factor as the season has gone on. So question I wanted to ask you guys is Donovan Mitchell, because he's your Utah Jazz's captain, right? He's the top dog, and Chris Paul, who maybe it goes to Devin Booker technically, but Chris Paul is kind of like the quote unquote leader of that group. Are Donovan Mitchell and Chris Paul enough to push either of these teams to the finals? And then if you do think that they have a chance to get there, do you think they have a chance to take down the Nets or the Sixers or the Bucks on the other side?
I mean, I'm a Donovan Mitchell fan. Jay's not the biggest of Donovan Mitchell fans, so I think you'll probably hear that from him in a second. I Here's how much I like Donovan Mitchell and how much I like kind of believe in him. I think I wouldn't put him on any lists in front of Jason Tatum, and that's exactly what ESPN did a couple weeks ago when they released their top 25 under 25. They put him at 4 and Jason Tatum at 5. And I just saw Jason Tatum last night, and I would bank that Jason Tatum has, deeper and more successful playoff runs than Donovan Mitchell does. So he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's averaged 20 since he entered the league, over 24 points per game every year since his second year in the league. So he's a really good, really solid offensive player. I mean, he's 6'1", though, so he doesn't really have much of an impact defensively, which is why, Rudy Gobert plays the role that he does. So I don't know. To me, for both of these teams, I mean, for Chris Paul to be doing what he's doing still and to be elevating teams, that's cool to see. Like, I don't know how far they can go. When he went to LA, the Clippers were under 500. He brought them above 500. When he went to Houston was really successful, won 55 games. Then they ended up winning 67 games the next season. When he went to the Thunder, and they lost Paul George and Russell Westbrook, they won 48 games. They still managed to win 44 in a season that was told, like, hey, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be the guy, and Chris Paul, you could just kind of enjoy retirement. And then now he's with Phoenix and is a 2 seed. So I really just don't know. I mean,
kind of all over the place, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but
he's won everywhere. He's won everywhere.
Yeah, he's won everywhere, and it'd be
except the big boy.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to see him get a ring, but it would also be nice to see LeBron get another one.
Yeah, winning is subjective, right? I mean, I almost feel like he needed to team up with LeBron in order to make that happen. Like, I think if Chris Paul was with the Lakers with LeBron and AD, that would have been a slam dunk championship banner for the Lakers.
He should have been with Kobe. He should have.
He would already have one if he got traded to the Lakers back in 2011, and Kobe would have had a second three-peat. And this is a completely different conversation we're having, about Kobe and
we're gonna talk about Kobe. I'm gonna show you a clip from Kobe's game where he tore his Achilles, but oh my Lanta, like that Lakers team with Kobe and Pau Gasol should have won a third title. Maybe not three-peated it, but man, that season. That he went down with his injury, man, they probably would have won it that season.
Just for my 2 cents, I don't think the Suns or the Utah Jazz are title contenders, bro. Like, they just don't have the depth. They don't have the top end talent. Like, for the Suns, it's Devin Booker. Devin Booker's their best player, like not even close. And then it's Chris Paul, and then it's DeAndre Ayton, who Andre Drummond will eat alive. And for Utah, don't believe in Rudy Gobert. Donovan Mitchell's good, but I would take at least 6-7 players on that top 25 list above him pretty easily. No, neither of them. Nope, I'm good. Not sold on either of them.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the standings here, and we'll go through it kind of like we do normally. So we're looking at the landscape of the West here, and what kind of stands out if you're looking at like why the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns are where they're at. Well, 25-3 at home for the Utah Jazz. The Phoenix Suns are 22-8 at home, right? So I mean, both with very nice home records. They look at the Phoenix Suns are 9-1 in their last 10 games. So I mean, playing hot, playing strong at home. They both can, they both have proven that they can, I think, win against any team. They've beaten the Lakers. They've beating each other. So, but yeah, you have the Jazz and the Suns there. I think the the percentage right now, like I think what is it, DPI percentage that the Jazz win first place in the conference is like 72%, and I think the Phoenix Suns have like a 17% like chance to overtake them, and then the Clippers have like a 1% chance. So I think we're pretty comfortable, right, with the 1-2-3 kind of here as we are with the 1-2-3 in the East. The Nuggets without Jamal, lost the last two games. Not necessarily. We're not necessarily blaming them specifically on Jamal, but well, they lost I think they lost one with Jamal, and then they lost the game that Jamal Murray was injured. The Lakers are still holding their head above water here, 6-4 in their last 10, 34-21 overall. So just a half game between them. So pretty close there. The Trailblazers are a few games behind the Lakers, and then we have the cutoff right there. The Mavs, Grizzlies, Spurs, and Golden State Warriors. With the Pelicans only one game behind the Warriors right now. Even though Steph Curry has been balling, the Pelicans are the potentially Lonzo Ball, Zion Williamson have a shot to make it, but we'll see if that happens. Do you see? I know we've kind of talked about this already with the way that this last week's played out. Do you guys see any of these the Spurs or the Warriors potentially falling and making way for the Pelicans there, or still kind of hard to picture?
Well, I've kind of well, first of all, let's talk about Dallas because Dallas is up there. Some really smart guy on this show talked about Dallas being a sleeper. Don't know who that is. Possible, but they might not even they have a chance to make it and not even have to worry about the play-in, bro. Luka's been unbelievable with Kristaps back in the rotation. He misses some games here and there, and they've lost two. One of those was without Kristaps. So just had to throw my little Dallas take in there. They're balling. Luka's a beast, taking over pretty much anybody.
Absolutely.
Golden State is in a little bit of trouble. I'm not going to lie. 26-28 now, only a game behind the Pelicans, who are getting healthy.
9-18 on the road.
Yeah. It's just it hasn't been good for them. I mean, Steph Curry's unbelievable. In his last 5 games, he's averaging 40 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 56% from the field, and 46% from the 3-point line, which is absolutely ridiculous. The Warriors are not a good basketball team. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that they are, but they're not ridiculously terrible. And in a season where we're getting 10 teams into the playoffs, all I've ever asked for was to make the playoffs. So you're never going to get 10 teams again, more than likely, unless we have another pandemic. And that's 2 more teams than normal that are getting in. So all I'm asking for the Warriors to do is get in. And that's proven to be quite the task right now. So we'll see how it plays out. I think the Pelicans, if they get healthy, that they were a team that I like to make the playoffs anyway. And honestly, seeing the Spurs, Popovich is a great coach, but they lost Aldridge. They're really young. DeMar DeRozan, sometimes he balls out. Other times he just kind of does DeMar DeRozan things, but you can see them balling too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So even if the Warriors aren't playing their best basketball, they can kind of bank on maybe one of these teams falling out. Love Memphis there at 8. I think they're a real contender, but Dallas is the real one for me.
Unlike Utah and Phoenix maybe winning the championship this year, you're giving them better than a 0% chance. So, like you brought up Dallas, and I'm gonna read off some comments from Luca and Mark Cuban. So they were talking about the play-in tournament. Luca said the other day, "I don't understand the idea of the play-in tournament. You play 72 games to get in the playoffs, then maybe you lose 2 in a row and you're out of the playoffs. I just don't see the point in that. We're just trying to get to the 6th spot. That's our goal right now. Maybe more than the 6th spot." And then Mark followed this with, "The worst part of this approach is that it doubles the stress of the compressed schedule. Rather than playing for a playoff spot and being able to rest players as the standings become clearer, teams have to approach every game as a playoff game to either get in or stay in to the top 6, since the consequences, as Luca said, are enormous. So players are playing more games and more minutes in fewer days." So what do you guys think about both of their comments there? Does it even mean anything? Like, do you take them seriously when they're talking?
I mean, Mark Cuban, kind of. I like the voice that he is, and I like who he represents, like how he represents himself for his organization. Mm-hmm. Luka's still young, and it's just he's always shown that he's gonna voice his opinion on anything basically since he came into the league. He's been pretty outspoken. Personally, like I mean, I kind of agree with him to a certain degree. Like it's fine, I guess, the play-in tournament. It's fine. Like I understand, like you do want to get that back end of the season to do like get resting and load management as some coaches like to do, and be a little more rotational and get more deeper into your lineup. But the season's condensed by 10 games, so I didn't really see another. I mean, they could have just went straight up and went 8 teams and just like normal, but I guess this makes it a little more interesting. I don't really see too much of an issue with it. I mean, it'll be nice to see like people battling it out the last couple of weeks of the season, like specific for 4 spots as opposed to 2 or 3. I mean, it's fine though. I mean, it's whatever. It's not gonna stay. It's not gonna be around forever, so I don't really care.
Yeah, I think the recency bias of just having a shortened season, and this is the only opportunity that this is going to happen. People have to make a point or complain about something at some point. So I get it. I mean, the whole idea. Mark Cuban was also saying that the league is also doing this. I didn't pull up this quote, but he's also saying that the league wants to do this because they want to make more money because they lost a bunch of money last season. Well, yeah, I mean, I think we're well aware that all these sports leagues can probably not make any money for 1 year and then still be profitable beyond anybody's imagination. So I get that point of view where the league wants to make money, and I feel a little bit bad for the players, but you just got to go out there and win. I mean, if you were good enough to win in this scenario, if the Mavericks are good enough to win 29 out of 53 games right there, then they should be able to beat teams that have even less wins than them. So it just should prove to them.
I personally think like Dallas may not even have to worry about the play-in tournament. Like Portland didn't make up any ground since LeBron's injury, and the Lakers have been at the 5 seed since about like 4 or 5 games into LeBron's injury. And Portland went 5-6 while LeBron was out. The Lakers went 6-7. And Portland has the 3rd worst defensive rating in NBA history this season. So if Dallas is going to make up ground with a healthy Porzingis, which I imagine they will, I don't see Portland. We were talking about it yesterday. They're pretty deep. They have a solid closing lineup, but Dallas has Luka, and I really like Luka, and I know Jay likes Luka. I could see Portland ended up in that play-in tournament as opposed maybe even Denver, depending on how far they slide, because they're without Jamal Murray. Who knows what they're going to look like now?
So real quick, just Dallas loses the tiebreaker because I think they've played Portland twice this year and lost both. So they'll have to finish with a better record and not just tie. But yeah, I see you.
No, I think the schedule's a load of bullets, to be honest with you guys. I don't really agree with it. I think it's pretty stupid. You only cut 10 games off. You should just have 8 teams in like normal. I actually agree with both Mark Cuban and Luka Doncic here. A bunch of teams are playing 3 and 4s, 5 and 7s. Like it's already a compressed schedule. You gave them the shortest offseason of any professional organization ever. And then now you're going to make them play in a play-in tournament. They made the playoffs. The 9th and 10th seeds did not make the playoffs on any other year. There's no reason why there should be 2 more teams that are getting in. When you had the bubble, it made a little more sense because it was like a completely separate season where we had a few months off and then brought everybody back in. This is a full season that started at the time when the NBA said there have been no interruptions. There have been nothing to hinder it. We played 72 games. The top 8 seeds should be in the playoffs without these 9 and 10 playing games. I 100% agree. And players now have to worry about, at the end of the season, if you're in, baby. I can rest some dudes. I can give dudes a little break. I can start if I want to strategically play my seed. I can. That's completely out the window now because you have to make sure that, like Luka's trying to do, they get to the 6th seed to avoid being in a play-in game where if you have a couple of bad showings, you're automatically out. At least in the postseason, you go down 0-2. That's not the end of the world. You get 2 more games at home, more than likely, if you're the lower seed, and you get to reestablish. You get to reestablish the series. But it's already like we've talked about in terms of a calendar schedule. It's condensed in terms of how long it's actually going on in real life months. Then it's compressed by the amount of games you're giving them, and the front half of the season, the back half of the season, they didn't even make until the All-Star break. We went into the All-Star break, and these teams didn't even know what their schedules were going to look like. So no, I honestly don't agree. I think it should only be the top 8 teams. When we talked about it, when we first started doing our live streams, the first thing I said was that the Warriors aren't going to make the playoffs, and I didn't even know that they were going to be 10 teams because it was such a silly thing to do. Because we're playing 72 games. That's 90% of the schedule. Mm-hmm. There's no shot. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I totally agree.
I don't know where like the idea spawned from. And again, like I said, it's fine. Yeah. I don't agree with it either. It's fine, I guess, if that's what they want to do and make it more interesting. But again, it's not at the benefit of the players at all.
I'll tell you where it spawned from. It's not that they want to make money, although that's always a reason. Anybody who thinks that that's not a reason, please leave the chat, okay? Because these dudes are all about the business of making money, okay? Mm-hmm. What it's about is Adam Silver's talked about it a few times. He wants to change the NBA schedule. He's talked about the EuroLeague format and having a tournament in the middle of the season. Dude, it's one thing to be a little radical and bring in some new ideas, and then it's another thing to just absolutely torch the league. I don't know if he thinks that having this play-in tournament, people are going to be like, oh, look at how great of a jolly idea this is. Let's do it all the time now. No, bro. We don't want a mid-season tournament. Nobody gives a rip. No one cares if you win. In the NFL, you can win in week 12. No one gives a darn, okay? You win in the playoffs when it matters. In the NBA, you win in the finals and you win in the playoffs when it flipping matters. No one cares what you did in the regular season. You can win some mid-season award tournament, and what's it going to get you? What is it going to get me? Another draft pick? No, it's going to give me some stinking little trophy that I put on the shelf, and then I wait for the NBA Finals to see if I can win the actual trophy.
So, though, I guess the way that so we started off the show talking about how the Nets have two of their all-stars, Kyrie and Durant, who both take off days, kind of, it seems like, as rest days, but, Kyrie has taken off a few personal days. Durant's usually injury-related. I guess it doesn't necessarily, I'm not trying to bitch and complain about the fact that Durant's taking off days off. He's been in this league for several years. And I'm a full, I stand behind the fact that as a coach, you can tell your star player, hey, you're going to take today off, right? You're getting a little old, man. You need to, you injured your hamstring. I need you for the playoffs, right? So they have control there to do that. But, the Nets aren't necessarily worried about losing their playoff position. So, these, whether or not teams can afford to take days off or, play position, like you said, really depends on how well built the team is. And so since the Dallas Mavericks are not as, have not been as successful as, the Nets have this season in terms of wins and losses and some of their stats, it kind of, puts the pressure more on Dallas. So I can understand where they're coming from. You would think that in a shortened season, the players would have a little bit more, a little bit, if you're taking 10 games off their plate, you would not put on the pressure of a play-in tournament because that's adding things back onto their plate. So with all the cops murdering people in the world and, all this endless, crap going on with the pandemic, there's a lot going on where I also am a proponent to think some of these players do need days off, and so I'm with Kyrie. Shit, I'm a Cancer, right? I'm super emotional. If I was an NBA player, I might have to take a personal day off. I just get on them because I don't necessarily think that I think it takes away from their ability to win a championship together because they're not putting in the work. And so at the top of the segment, I'm judging them based off of how successful they'll be this season. As players, we already know Kyrie and Durant are, top 100 all time, no doubt. But as a Brooklyn Nets team, I think they're, unless they get some games where they all play together and maybe show a little bit signs on the defensive end, I think we're looking at them not being the champions this year. But yeah, it was the season last year with that shortened season and the play-in tournament, you would have thought that maybe the league could have figured out a better way to have this season take place. They had the time. There was 71 days in between the Lakers winning the title and them having to play again. So, a little over 2 months, which is the shortest, off season for any champion to like go into playing again. But like that's still 2+ months, and then like you said, they didn't even release the back half of the schedule. If they were worried about scheduling and stuff like that, because they didn't know what to expect from the pandemic at the very beginning of the year, so they were like, okay, we'll release half the schedule and then the other half. Then maybe they should have, had the contingency of the play-in tournament only be if the states were going back into like the purple zones or like really poor really bad numbers, and the virus was like spreading again. But it's not the case, right? Like in most states, you don't even have to wear a mask when you go out. And in California, like California is doing really good as far as like vaccinations, and the numbers are going down statewide. So yeah, kind of a flop. Like I liked Adam Silver to begin his commish career, but now I'm kind of like whatever. Like so.
Yeah, I mean, there's the sports to get like the gambling being legalized. I think that was a big step, like for a lot of people, like especially for the NBA. And then they did the thing. They did what the WNBA has been doing for a while with the uniforms and getting branding on the uniforms and sponsorships and stuff. So I like those ideas. This is just not one of his best ones, unfortunately. Hopefully he, kind of gets walked back somehow on the midseason tournaments. But yeah, the 72-day off season is definitely something that, has already reared its ugly head, and we've seen all season. The four teams that finished the playoffs last year in the bubble, the Celtics, Heat, Lakers, and Nuggets have all now dealt with major injuries, whether that's due to the 72, day rest period or not.
Right.
I mean, you could take that for what you will, but it's just kind of funny that was the case.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about some Laker haters out there, and this is not necessarily specific to. This is more specific to Skip Bayless. He mentioned that in a show on his Undisputed show with Shannon, he was like he bitched about how LeBron is taking his time off. Like he said, LeBron got injured and then he got up and shot a three and made a three. So if someone who needs to be off 6 weeks is getting up, walking on his own, making a 3-pointer, going to the locker room, and walking on his own like ability, then is he really injured 6 weeks worth? And so Shannon mentioned like Kobe to him.
Cue the Kobe clip. Yeah, cue the Kobe clip.
He was like, yeah, but I don't know what he thought otherwise. But so the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers, you should like all go and rewatch the highlights of this game, because I did this morning and I was like effing hyped for Kobe, dude. Like he got beat up 3 times this game, 3 times. Like you're gonna see all of them right now, right? You're gonna see him bang a knee, like kind of hurt a foot, and then you're gonna see him tear his Achilles. And part of me is so effing sad too, because I saw Kobe like 2 times where maybe coach could have taken him out of the game, but the Black Mamba was like, you ain't taking me out of this game, like he controlled his own destiny there for sure. But yeah, here's the 3 injuries. So he bumped knees here. He was down for a few minutes after this had happened. And then he like kind of fell on his foot the wrong way. He was down for a couple minutes. Gary Vitti had a look at him there. And then he tore his Achilles. The Lakers called a timeout. He walked to the bench. And then he walked back to shoot the free throws. He made both free throws with the Lakers down 2. Then they called a timeout. They fouled one of the Golden State Warriors, and then Kobe walked to the locker room on his own accords with the torn Achilles. So
take mine. You can have mine. I'll get you. I get you right there. Rip it out.
When Skip Bayless is literally sitting on his ass, complaining about someone who is not sitting on his ass, who's playing through an injury. You don't get to control like the willpower, and you don't get to control like literally how much heart goes into a player's attitude and how much they love the game. And if LeBron overcame a high ankle sprain to make a 3-point shot. Well, that's because he's just athletically gifted, and he's a phenomenal like sized human being. If you were standing next to him, you'd be like, oh boy, you'd be
Oh, we
you'd,
be
you'd be
pipsqueaks. Yeah, we talked about
you'd
this
be
the other day.
intimidated. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, so like I think Skip is he's just trying to like grasp at straws. He's always trying to get on. He's always trying to like cut hit the chord that gets LeBron kind of annoyed with him. But LeBron's never really like given him the light of day there. But I just wanted to say, Skip, you're grasping at straws, dude. So just like stop trying to be the players health coach or whatnot. Just let them play. If they overcome and have a special moment, then that's what it is. It's a special moment, adrenaline, whatever you want to call it. But whatever your analysis of the situation was is wrong. Which kind of breeds into what we're talking about, right? So like we're talking about like players can't necessarily take games off. Well, I don't know if the Lakers really would be interested in like playing around with his injury. Like maybe they could rush him back a little sooner, but I don't think the Lakers want to like run that risk of re-aggravating because Lakers aren't winning the title without LeBron on the court. So
Yeah, they're doing the same thing with Anthony Davis too and his Achilles, so they're taking it slow with him for the right reasons, right? It makes a lot of sense to me. So yeah, take it easy on them. They're trying to make sure that their stars are ready for the big time postseason. We kind of talked about it already. That's where it counts. So make sure they're ready for then. As long as we're not in the play-in tournament, I don't really matter. It doesn't really matter. And then even if we're in the play-in tournament, I mean, none of those teams are beating us anyway. So
right, definitely. It's interesting though. Like, I mean, a lot of this like talk that we kind of started the show off with is just are the players there? Are they making a contribution? Are they injured? Are they not injured? Like some of the cases it is, some of the cases it's not. And Skip's allowed to have his opinion there, but ultimately it does. It serves nothing to. It's a bad take to me. So
I haven't watched a show in 2 years. So
yeah,
he's got a lot of those, bro. I watch Shannon for the memes. That's pretty much it.
Right. I'll catch a recap or something on Twitter here and there, just like either someone bashing him or him just like making himself look silly there. But yeah, I'm with you. So we'll talk about defensive player of the year. We haven't really touched on that the last couple of shows. Right now, the Kia ladder here on NBA.com has Rudy Gobert still at number 1. He has like some like ridiculous like plus minus stats that go into his favor. Obviously he's a defensive minded player that also contributes to the team otherwise. But I think the three of us are kind of on this Ben Simmons bandwagon. Doc Rivers the other day, or maybe it was yesterday, was mentioning that Ben Simmons is the defensive player of the year no matter what. This guy can guard every position on the court, right? So I think Jay had like brought that up last time we were talking about Ben Simmons.
He's absolute freakazoid. I mean, like I mentioned, he's literally the only person who can actually. They talk about it. Ooh, this guy can guard 1 through 5, like Draymond. They used to always say Draymond can guard 1 through 5 until a big center like Joel Embiid puts him into the freaking paint and gets him right underneath his grill and dunks it all over his face. Ben Simmons can actually guard 1 through 5. Dude, 6'9", 6'10", plays point guard. Super fast, one of the best people in the break. It's unbelievable. Watching him today play defense, he's the best defender in the league. Rudy Gobert does a great job of playing the paint. And the thing that the Jazz do is they play their defensive philosophy to bring people to Rudy Gobert in his 7'1" frame where he just stands there like a brick wall, which is fine and everything. But Ben Simmons is on the perimeter, guarding the best player every night, no matter what the position is. Like Ben Simmons is the defensive player of the year.
So Miles Turner, Bam Adebayo, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, we're not going to really talk about them. What I really want to talk about is what Ben Simmons said when so the interviewer was like, so hey, Doc talked about how you are going to be the defensive player of the year, like he sees it happening no matter what. And then Ben Simmons was like, yeah, and he also said, when I played Rudy Gobert was on me. I scored 42 points on him. So I was like, Oh, well, yeah, he kind of brings up a good point there.
And he even mentioned, he's like, and people say I can't score. I score 42 on homeboy. It gets him. How about that?
I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you got to give it to him now.
Yeah, pretty solid way to change your opinion right there, huh? By not scoring to go against the guy who's leading the Defensive Player of the Year rankings right now. So
The the defensive player of the year is probably going to come down to either of those two guys. I would like to. I think we'd all kind of like to see it go to the Sixers. Ben Simmons there. Once upon a time, I think Joel was even in those talks too. Anthony
Yeah,
Edwards. Anthony Edwards has been balling lately. So he's top on the rookie of the year Kia ladder. I think he dropped 24 points today over the season. Since they put him on the ladder, he's averaged 22 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3.3 assists. I mean, he's playing for a bad team and he's getting solid minutes. Number 2 on this list is Tyrese Halliburton, who's not playing as many minutes now. So like the difference there is quite a bit now. So I don't think Halliburton has a shot there. What I wanted to ask you guys, though, is will they give it to LaMelo, who I have to scroll down here because he's technically number 6 on their list, but will they give it to LaMelo? He played 41 games this season, so like technically half of a regular NBA season, but since it's not a regular NBA season, he's probably played
60%.
60%. So
Yeah.
60% of the season, 15.9 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game, 6.1 assists per game. But I think we're also looking at the fact that the Charlotte Hornets are a competitive team in the East. They were largely put into that place because LaMelo Ball was balling out, and then Anthony Edwards plays for the bottom feeder of the league, right? So,
And LaMelo, when he was starting, averaged 27 and 7. So, yeah, it's LaMelo. He did the most for his team when he was on the floor as a rookie, so he should be the rookie of the year. He didn't play a lot of games. That's, obviously he's hurt. You can't really do a whole lot about being hurt, but he played about 60% of them, even if he doesn't play another game. So, LaMelo Ball is the rookie of the year for me. Anthony Edwards is great. He gives us some great sound bites. I'll pull a couple of those up. Ace, you want me to pull those up right now? Or
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, dude. Okay, so this is about...
Just to kind of add to the LaMelo thing real fast, and I'll be really quick. Playing 41 games isn't really that big of a deal to me. Joel Embiid played 31 games and won Rookie of the Year, so I know he's not Joel Embiid, but obviously we've already seen in the past that missing games doesn't really matter if you're the impact player at rookie. Just want to throw that in there, but yeah, Anthony, I love Anthony Edwards as a soundbite.
So this NBA.com's got it all wrong here. So if you didn't know, Alex Rodriguez is about to purchase the Minnesota Timberwolves with one of his business partners. We're going to talk about it a little bit tomorrow too. But Anthony Edwards, who played high school baseball, does not know who A-Rod is. So you want to play the clip?
I got that clip after. We got him all on deck, baby, because he's a soundbite waiting to happen. Here comes this one.
Do you have any thoughts about him? Are you an A-Rod fan at all growing up or anything like that? What do you think about what he might bring to the team?
A fan? What you mean, like, who is
A fan?
The baseball player, Alex Rodriguez?
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I know he's gonna be the owner, but I don't know nothing about baseball.
He's gonna sign your checks. Do a Wikipedia search on him. Come on, man.
Dude, it's gonna be even funnier when I show you this one. He says he played baseball. He batted cleanup.
I mean, to be fair, when A-Rod ended his career, he was probably 13. So Anthony Edwards probably just started playing baseball in high school. So I don't know, whatever. I mean, he was. I feel like everyone should know who A-Rod is, though.
He was so athletically gifted. Maybe they just put him into like as many sports as they could when he was in high school.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely.
If you haven't seen this clip, this is only a part of the 1:30 of just absolute gold, where he says he can even be a cook if he wanted. I mean, the confidence in this guy is unbelievable. So
stay out of my kitchen.
Here's this one, bro. This one's freaking gold.
I used to play baseball when I was young. Yeah, it'd be hot.
Really? How good a baseball player were you?
I could have went to the MLB.
MLB?
Yeah.
I am not surprised.
I'm serious though.
No, I love your confidence. What
played
positions
pitcher.
did you play?
I played pitcher, shortstop, third base, center field.
Those are the prime positions.
That what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, you were the best player on your team.
Is that now we talking?
You could hit the ball,
But I was 4th, 5th hitter. You know what that means?
clean up. Yeah.
Great cleanup on aisle 3. Come.
Okay, I just wanna make an observation here. What kind of what kind of interview is that? They're like, I'm the best. You're the best. Yeah. I was this and that. Oh yeah, you were this and that. Like,
Dude, because if you see the whole video, bro, he's just talking about how he the best thing since sliced bread and everything. He's like, I ain't cooked, but I bet y'all BA wants his day one. Like he is so funny.
A-Rod played shortstop.
God.
A-Rod played shortstop and third base too. So I mean, he played
yeah.
2 positions that the guy played. So.
Oh, dude, just absolute freaking comedy. That dude is freaking hilarious, bro. Whew.
Literally, what the dunk is going on. So
I got you, boys.
Over the weekend, there was a lot of dunks in the NBA.
There was.
There was some.
A lot of Hornets. A lot of Hornets I'm about to show, bro. All right.
But that headline is also the question to whatever the heck interview that was.
Okay, this is Caleb Martin on newly acquired Laker Ben McLemore. We're not going to talk about the crappy scoreboard on the bottom. Don't worry, we've already done that.
All right, here we go. You want to make it full screen?
All right, here he comes. Oh, just all over him, dude. And then a little stare down, dude. Just all over him. And you know he's got a twin, and they look exactly the same. One's number 10, one's number 11. So which one is it? Couldn't tell you, but it's a Martin.
Not too shabby.
Nasty. That's just not nice. It's on a little guy too, KCP, but still, that's just not nice.
Yeah. We had better dunks.
There's that one, and then we got.
We had better dunks this week than the NBA dunk contest.
Oh, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Now we got Kyle Kuz, and this is in the same game. This is in the same game, mind you. This one was pretty unbelievable as well. And it's Kyle Kuzma, who, if anybody knows, I'm not the biggest fan of, but this was
no bias. I think this one was a little bit better. Like just
then the Caleb Martin one, but then we're gonna show you the one from Miles Bridges after, and that's the best in-game dunk ever. Okay, here we go. Here's Kuzma's. That one's good. That one's good.
Nice transition dunk there.
That's where this guy right here, one-handed right into Mascara. Oh yeah, you take it all day, bro. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic right there. That's just good stuff. And then now, okay, this is the best one. This is the best one. It's not even close.
If you can't if you can make this one full screen when you put.
Oh, okay, I'll go full screen.
Just so we could highlight this bad boy a little bit more.
Absolutely. Okay, this one was egregious. Clint Capella. This is on a big boy. This is on Clint Capella, bro. And I mean, dude gets blocks too. Oh my god.
Nasty, man.
Bro, and the announcers.
I know we can't hear them. I don't think we could play them, but shout out to Eric Collins, the Hornets play-by-play guy. He absolutely kills it at his job.
Yeah. He was like it was like he was in one of those churches where they like put the spirit in you. Like he had a beautiful reaction to that.
Dude was floating, bro, and he's done this before. Like Bridges has put people on posters, man, and
shout out to Andrew too for knowing Eric Collins' name.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Eric Collins.
We do research here at AJA Sports. Research.
Oh, yeah. Hashtag put in the work.
Hashtag research. No, seriously, he cracks me up, dude. Last year Zach LaVine scored like 9 points in the last minute to win the game, and like he stole a ball off a baseline inbound, Zach LaVine, and they were down by 2, and he hit a 3, and Eric Collins is all like, "Oh no!" And then Zach LaVine hit the 3. They were up by 7 with like 30 seconds to go, and he's like, "You're kidding!" They lost. He's just so animated. He's so funny, dude. So again, shout out to Eric Collins, man. You're killing it over there. Do your job. You're doing it well.
So yeah, we kind of went over our thoughts on Rookie of the Year, on Defensive Player of the Year. The MVP on the Kia ladder hasn't been updated since last week, and we did cover it last week. So it's still on their ladder. It's Jokic, Dame. I think they put. Oh God, I should have remembered. Embiid, I think, is number 3. But either way, like who do you guys like right now? Like your thoughts changing? Is it still LeBron, Giannis, Jokic here?
I mean, yeah, I had Giannis, but seeing the way Embiid is playing right now,
Think Embiid maybe pulls it out.
as long as he stays healthy for the rest of the year, and if they get the 1 seed, I mean, I saw this on Embiid. He's averaging 33.4 points and 12.4 rebounds per 36 minutes. The only other guys to average that in a season were Wilt Chamberlain and Giannis Antetokounmpo last year. So he's just absolutely dominating when he's on the floor. So if he keeps going, and especially with the injury to Murray, if Denver even if Denver stays like 4 or 5, I think if Embiid finishes first, that he could probably win the award still.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jokic, Asa may be making a point here. The Murray injury helps his MVP chances. I mean, if he continues to be putting up a triple-double, losing his second best player, he's already up there right now on the ladder, top of the board there. So can definitely see him holding on and getting a little boost for that. And then LeBron should be 3. Don't care that he's been out. He's the best player on the planet. So if you're the best player on the planet, you're in the MVP discussion. And if he comes back in balls and gets the Lakers up to like a top 3 seed, you're darn tootin'. I'm going to have him numero uno because I ain't no bias. You know what I'm saying? No bias. I got no biases here. I don't even like the Lakers.
So he should have like 15, somewhere close to 15 games, right, to get right before the playoffs, him and AD, when they're projecting them to get back.
They're saying like another 2 2 weeks for AD, maybe 3 for LeBron. So
okay. So
so how I personally why I'm personally going to give it to Jokic, even if it doesn't go to him. He's played every game this season. He has not missed a game. His stats are just off the freaking charts. He's the king of the almost triple-double. And then to me, he's the reason why they're the 6th seed knocking down on the door for the they're the 5th seed knocking down on the door for they're the 4th seed. Sorry, moving up to the 4th seed.
Yeah. Help your boy out. Yeah.
So, I'm not necessarily as worried that Jamal is out for the regular season. So it's a regular season award. So I think he can still win it and not win the championship because they're not winning without Jamal. But I can see him definitely having a shot. Like,
oh yeah, 100%. To me, get more shots, more opportunities.
Yeah, so we'll see how his stats change. If anything, he might he had 16 assists the other a week ago against the Orlando Magic, which was just sick. Like he's been balling out. Love to see it. You have Jay's gonna kind of wrap up the show here for us. He wanted to tell us a funny stat. What is it, Jay?
Yeah, so I'm on the Twitter sphere. I'm not like a big Twitter sphere guy, but it's basically my news in the morning. Love it. Get a cup of Joe, scroll the Twitterverse and see what's going on in the world. Found out today, fun fact for you, Kevin Durant, right? Score. It's what he does. Great scorer. One of the best scorers in NBA history already. He sets out more tweets than he scored NBA points in his entire career so far. Just a funny little thing, because someone mentioned it to him and he commented back. I think it was a Run the Jewels lyric where it was like, I could be all time in both or in 2 categories or something like that. So he thinks of himself as an all-time Twitter guy and an all-time basketball player, which the basketball player makes a lot of sense. The Twitter stuff, I don't know. But he just found out today that he's got more freaking tweets out than he does points in the NBA. Crazy.
We're not even including his burner account that he got called out for. What was that, a few years back, and he did take a whole year off. Right, last year he was out for the whole season, so he got to tweet away, large in part there. But that is pretty hilarious.
Right? Yeah.
He has 23,561 career points. He has more tweets than that.
Yeah, like 25K.
That is. Yeah, that's one of the wildest. That's a stat that probably won't ever be replicated, especially because of it's happening in this moment in time, in 2021. That's crazy.
I didn't believe it until he acknowledged it. I was like, oh shit, it must be true then.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hate you, Katie.
That's great.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just looking up this number here. So if you if you wanted to catch up to Kevin Durant's 25,000 tweets in 1 year, you would have to tweet 68 times a day to get there, and keep that average up every day. So
Dang. 68 times. Holy snot.
This
You're
guy's
getting a quick unfollow if you tweeting 68 times a day. I'm unfollowing the crap out of your page, man.
I want to unfollow you. I'll just mute you. You know.
Nah, unfollow. You're done. You can't behave.
You're out of my life forever.
Behave yourself. That's too many. That's way too many tweets.
Behave.
Definitely. So that about wraps it up, guys. NBA landscape is still kind of up in the air. Pretty exciting to watch though. So a lot of good games every week. You know, these top dogs are facing each other almost every night. So we'll see.
Yeah, we just had the Brooklyn and Sixer game, and we got the Memphis and Dallas game. I'm about to go watch that right now. So
7 versus 8 in the West. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very important game. Yeah. So we'll be on tomorrow with the MLB show, our baseball buzz, where we get a little buzzed. So join us for that.
Little gin ton.
I gotta go get some more.
I know I'm running out of unique drinks to bring to the table, so I'll probably just.
Asa, yeah, you better come through, buddy.
We'll see.
The viewers are waiting.
Something different.
Okay, I'll come up with something different. You'll be surprised tomorrow, and I won't have to go out and buy anything. So, but yeah, thanks for tuning in, folks. If you can like us, support us, and subscribe, that'd be awesome. I've been peeping the analytics, and there's a couple people out there who are not subscribed but are watching our shows, which is, it happens. But if you could hit that subscribe button, that'd be A-OK in our books. But thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night, guys. Bye.